I did my project on Cliff Palace. Background: Cliff Palace is found in Mesa Verde National Park in Colorado. It is the largest cliff dwelling in North America. It was built by ancestral Puebloans who were native to the Four Corners region. It has about 150 rooms. It is made out of natural sandstone, wooden beams, and mortar. It is unknown why the Puebloans left Cliff Palace, but it is thought to be drought, lack of resources, violence, or a combination of these.
Native American cliff dwellings, Mesa Verde National Park. Mesa Verde in Colorado in the United States is located on a plateau 2,600 meters above sea level. This site was first discovered in 1888 by a local rancher. He was looking for a missing cow when he discovered these cave dwellings, purely by chance. Many well-preserved houses were built inside a cave on the face of a sheer cliff. This cluster of dwellings was built by the ancestral Pueblo people. There are over 600 cave dwellings. They were mostly built during the 12th century. Soft stones were cut and piled up to make over 150 rooms. These dwellings could reach up to 3 or 4 stories high. Logs were built into the wall to make beams and ceilings. Ladders were placed at the entrance to each room. This is the communal kitchen area. Sweet corns were mashed on these stones for cooking. There are also traces that fire was used for cooking here too. This was the space for water. Rainwater penetrated the soft sandstone and was collected here. Mesa Verde is extremely hot in summer with cold winters with snow. These cave dwellings were perfectly adapted to protect settlers from these extreme temperatures and harsh climate. Mesa Verde means green table in English. Thick stone walls protected people from the summer heat and blocked the harsh winds in winter. Beside the cave living area are lots of small toe holds that showed the routes settlers used to climb the cliff walls. Settlers lived on Mesa Verde for some 200 years. However, at the end of the 13th century, they suddenly deserted the settlement. After 30 years of drought, the spring dried up. The settlers were forced to move on to other areas to find water.
This is a map of the United States. I added a blue star in the bottom left corner of Colorado to show approximately where Mesa Verde National Park is located. In 1874, W.H. Jackson, known as the pioneer photographer, photographed a small cliff dwelling in the outskirts of Cliff Palace. He was not credited with the discovery. On December 18, 1888, Richard Wetherill and Charlie Mason were looking for stray cattle. They came across what they described as a magnificent city. They explored and stole artifacts. At the time, there were no laws protecting Cliff Palace. Over the next 18 years, people would visit, sleep in the dwellings, take artifacts, vandalize the walls, etc. In 1906, Mesa Verde National Park was created in order to protect the site. Early archaeological research. In 1891, Gustav Nordenskjöld excavated nearly 24 cliff dwellings. He wrote a book on his findings, which stimulated most of the interest in Cliff Palace. He also collected artifacts. In 1908, Dr. Jesse Walter Fuchs of the Smithsonian Institution excavated Spruce Tree House, which was one of the larger main dwellings. He did not use more modern methods of archaeology, and the dwellings were mostly ruined by people taking artifacts, camping out, and vandalizing. Therefore, this wave of research did not contribute much to our understanding of Cliff Palace today. Slightly more recent archaeological research was done outside of Cliff Palace, which contributed to most of what we know about Cliff Palace today. Not much research was done because the government was trying to preserve Cliff Palace. Most of the projects done with Cliff Palace after the 1930s were focused on preservation. In the early 1930s, Cliff Palace was unstable and close to collapsing. This started many projects to preserve it.